kids, Mrs. Muffin here, and ready to do some art with you. Before we start our art lesson, we need to make sure we're mentally and physically ready for art. So just to start, I want you to make sure your space is ready for you to make some art. So first, I want you to sit up straight, or you could be standing during this part. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and a long deep breath out your mouth. You can take 1 or 2 more breaths, you can take 20 breaths, it's up to you and the time you have, but I want you to make sure you're in a place where you feel calm and ready to make some art. I'm going to take a few more breaths. Okay, I think I'm ready. I'm feeling pretty calm. We've taken care of our mental preparedness. Let's talk about the supplies we need today. First of all, you need a piece of paper. Now, this piece of paper could be smaller than the one I have. It could be bigger. It could be in a notebook that you're using. It could be thick paper like I have. This is watercolor paper. Or it can be thinner paper. You really have to use what you have. Make sure that you use paper that's from school for art or that your grown-ups have given you to use for art. Don't just go and say, oh, this paper looks good, and use it without asking permission first. All of us at home are learning in different ways and we have different supplies, so we have to make do with what we have. So again, you need some paper or a notebook, somewhere to create your art. The next thing you're going to need is a pencil. It can be any kind of pencil. It could be mechanical, the ones that click with an eraser. It could be one of those bigger pencils, or it can be just a regular pencil. The other thing you're going to need today is an eraser. It could be any kind of eraser you have to. It could be an eraser on top of your pencil. It could be a separate eraser like this, but you're going to need an eraser probably. The last thing you're going to need is something to make your art colorful. Now this is going to be different for everybody. In my example, I just use crayon, pencil, and I also use a permanent marker. Do not use a permanent marker unless you have permission from your grown-ups. And you don't have to use a permanent marker. You don't have to use it at all, or you could use a different marker or a black crayon. So we've got our paper, our pencil, eraser, optional marker, we don't have to have it, and then whatever supplies we have at home to make our art colorful. It could be crayons, it could be markers, it could be color pencils, it could even be watercolor paint if grown-ups at home are helping you and give you permission to use that. But again, in my example, I just use crayons. Now, before I start reading this book, I want to tell you a few things about it. All throughout the book, it has different letters of the alphabet, and each letter talks about a different kind of breath, and it asks you to do things. It says, take in a deep breath, lay down, stretch your arms. I want you to do those things. They will help you focus on the breathing and hopefully enjoy the book a little bit more. So as I read along, make sure that you are acting out what it asks you to do. For example, we'll go to the letter A, the first page. It says, open your arms wide like an alligator, jaws on the in-breath, snap them shut on the out-breath. I want you to open your arms out wide like the alligator, and then we snap. So we go just like an alligator jaw. So as we go throughout the book, if you're able, act out whatever it asks you to do. And I want you to think about, what letter do I want to base my art project on from the alphabet? Any letter in the alphabet, you need to think of a word or a type of breath that you can invent. You could choose one of the breaths from the book. I'm fine with that. If you want to choose alligator breath and draw an alligator, that's okay. But if you want to choose a different thing based on one of the letters, I really like that too. In the book, it has A for alligator. You might choose A for art breath. And you pretend that you're painting and you go, you're dipping your paintbrush in paint. So you pick up your brush and you dip. You can choose any letter you want and change it to any word you want that has to do with breathing, or you could choose one from the book. That's fine too. So now we've got our supplies, we've taken our deep breaths, and we feel ready to go. Anything else you need to get ready for art, do it now. That might mean you need to go to the bathroom. It might mean you put on some nice music, as long as everyone else at home's okay with it. Maybe some headphones. That's one nice thing about doing school at home, is you get to choose things like that. If we were in school, then only I would get to choose the music, right? Make yourself comfortable. This is art class. We should be having fun, and I want you to enjoy yourself. So let's talk about the goal for today's art lesson. Our goal is to learn more about our breath. We started the lesson by taking some deep breaths, and we're going to learn more about why we took those deep breaths and what good they can do for us. So we want to learn more about breaths and what they can do for us in our minds. And then we're going to make an art project inspired by that and by this book. This book is called Alphabreaths, and it's written by Christopher Willard and Daniel, I might say this wrong, Rechtschaffen. That's a fun last name. And it's illustrated, or the pictures are done by Holly Clifton-Brown. If you are watching this video on Canvas at school, then you're going to get to see this book read right on this video. If you're viewing this video on YouTube, I will not be reading the book because people who write and illustrate these books don't like it when we put them on the internet without permission. You could also look for it online. Maybe there's another video where they read it, or maybe it's available on the online school library if you are not watching this on Canvas. So we're going to learn more about breath, and then we're going to make art inspired by this book and our breath. Now that we've read Alphabreaths, and I'm hoping that you're feeling as calm as I am after reading it, we're ready to make some art. Grab your supplies, some paper or a notebook, a pencil, an eraser. If you want, you can have a marker, totally optional. You don't have to have one. And then you need some supplies to make it colorful. You might choose to have colored pencils. You might choose to use some crayons. It's up to you what supplies you use, but make sure you have permission to use those supplies. We don't want to wander around and use some things that our grown-ups don't want us using. The first sample I made is of cat. You know me, I love cats, so I chose C for cat breath. I wrote a really long sentence here. You don't have to write a big long thing like I did. You could just write the type of breath, and if you want to ask a grown-up in your house, or maybe a sibling or someone else, if you want to ask them to help you write a longer sentence, that's fine too, but you just need to make sure that you write this part, cat breath, or whatever letter it is. It might be alligator breath, it might be popcorn breath. The second example I did that you're about to see right now is popcorn breath. Okay, so first things first, let's not forget on the back of our paper, we're gonna write our name. Don't write Laura, that's my name. And we're gonna write our teacher's name. Don't write teacher, write your homeroom teacher's name. So first, practice doing some drawing. Think about what you want to draw before you draw it. I'm gonna go with the letter P. So I'm going to put a big P. Then I'm going to write out my sentence in pencil. Make sure you do it in pencil. I put a P for popcorn breath. And then I'm going to write, imagine smelling some fresh popcorn. Now I'm going to start drawing my picture. Now, you don't have to outline yours in black marker, but I like to for the videos, so it's easier to see the image. hope you enjoyed making this art project based on the book Alphabreaths. Don't forget to check out the student gallery and send your art to your teacher. Have one of your grown-ups take a picture with their phone and email it to your gen ed teacher or me. My email's on Canvas, and let me see what you've made, and then I can upload it to our school Padlet site that displays all the art from different students who share it with me. I hope that this art project helps you remember to take deep breaths and that they will help you feel better. Maybe take your art project and hang it up somewhere you'll see when you work on your school, and it'll remind you to take deep breaths as we go through our schoolwork.